present, and which strategies can you apply, and how you can help yourself if you want to be more focused, more present in your relationships, in your work, while performing certain tasks, or being more focused on whatever you are doing at that moment. And if you want to fully focus on this webinar, please put your phone on a quiet mode and take a slow breath, and just for a moment actually be here with me. Don't try to do multitasking, don't plan you will do what you will do after the end of this session. Just stay here and with whatever is happening in this moment. How often do you actually can do that? Stay focused just on one task, be able to focus just on anything that you are doing at that moment. And today we will be discussing about the science of staying present and the science behind it, and what the recent research says on this field, and what you can do if you want to learn to be more focused. So what presence actually means psychologically, and what's the cost of absence, what we lose when we are not here, and we will also be discussing about the science of mindfulness, what actually mindfulness is, and why presence is important in relationships, and we will be also sharing some strategies and skills that you can apply to your relationships, or in order to be able to stay focused. So, according to Matthew Killingsworth and Daniel Gilbert's recent experiences, they found that people spend approximately around 50% of their waking hours thinking about something other than what they are currently doing. And this mind wandering is linked with lower rates of happiness, and regardless of what they are doing. Therefore, a person's mind was a better predictor of their happiness than the activity they were engaged in. And it's not what you are doing that predicts how you feel, but whether you are actually there while you're doing it. And so instead of blaming yourself or criticizing yourself when you cannot stay focused, you can try asking yourself, what are some times when you are able to stay present, when you can focus, when you can concentrate on your work? What's happening during those moments? What's being different? And I will invite you to consider, when are you already present, even for a few minutes? How do you manage that? What happens exactly before that helps you to stay present? What do you notice about yourself? Which feelings, which behaviors, routines, activities, environments, people, feelings, or mindset helps you to stay focused? And what difference does it create for you at times when you are able to stay focused? What's different? What difference does it create for other people who are around you? How are they being impacted? And so we can consider times when this possibility of focusing is already happening, and you can become more aware of how you are accomplishing it, which strategies are you already using, maybe even not being aware of it while you are there. So if you reflected on your day, maybe you would notice brief moments when you are fully engaged in what you are doing. And what are you doing differently during those moments? And according to Sherry Turkle's research at MIT, that was documented in Reclaiming Conversations, it shows that more presence of a smartphone on a table between two people, even if it was face down, even if it was silent, reduces the quality of conversation and the depth of connection. And it's happening because people anticipate interruption, and they unconsciously keep conversations at a level of depth that can tolerate interruption. So the deep, vulnerable, connective conversations that require sustained mutual attention happen less. So what does it mean for our relationships? It means that whenever smartphones or phones or tablets are around us, it's more difficult for people to connect deeply, to understand each other, because somewhere in the background there is always this thought that the phone might ring, or we might think about notifications, and this makes it more challenging for staying focused. So how can we use this knowledge? We can either put the phone into other room. For instance, if you are studying, or if you are trying to accomplish certain task, assignment, or if you want to stay focused on your work, you can turn on your notifications or put your phone on the other place. And according to research, it was found that when phones are away, people are able to focus and concentrate better, and are being more successful and having better results. So presence is not the absence of distraction. Presence is the willingness to come back. And even uh, since our brains are being overly activated because of these notifications, constant flow of emails, messages, calls, and in this era of where our amygdala is being overly activated, it might be quite challenging for us to stay focused. However, our brains are adaptable, and they can constantly develop, evolve, and according to research, each time we are helping ourselves to come to present moment, we are in a sense training our brain, and new neurons are being formed, and each time when you are returning to the present moment, you are actually teaching your brain that you can stay present, and each time it's returning to present moment, you are actually building muscles of your brain and helping yourself to stay focused. For instance, you can make an experiment. You can set a time and try to notice how long can you study, how long can you stay focused. And oftentimes people notice that sometimes it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, right? Maybe 30 minutes. But as you train your brain, this period will gradually increase, and you will notice that after certain days you will be able to focus for longer periods of times. So presence is the willingness to come back, and the mind may wander dozens of times during a conversation. You might stop to think about something else, but what's important here is not how often it wanders, but how often you notice and you return, you come back. And every return is an act of connection. Every return is a practice of bringing your attention back to what is meaningful. And deepest conversations often emerge when two people create enough space for vulnerability to unfold. This requires sustained attention. Not perfect attention, but willing attention. So even if you notice that your mind is wandering, coming back, returning, and sometimes, for instance, if it's very difficult for you to connect, to stay focused, honestly, telling this to people that sometimes it's difficult for you to concentrate, and if you have noticed that you have missed something, or you didn't understand what the person was telling, you can gently ask them to repeat, and even though your mind might be telling that this might be accepted as disrespectful, but over time people would notice that you are being authentic, that you really care about the person, and you really want to understand them, and even the fact that you are sharing this, honestly sharing this, might help to deepen your connection, deepen your relationship. Or also, if you are not sure that you understood the person's thoughts because your mind was wandering, reflecting them back what you have heard, what you have understood can be another strategy that might help you to maintain a sustained connection, understanding, and ability to stay focused. So instead of blaming yourself, criticizing yourself when your mind is wandering, approaching yourself with compassion, kindness, and searching for ways of how to improve it, how to stay more focused, can be more efficient for you, more helpful for you in the long run. Because if you will keep criticizing yourself, this will not benefit anyone, and this will create even more anxiety, more stress, and it will make it more challenging for you to focus and concentrate. And when experiments were conducted with kids, with children, when their parents were constantly on their phones, the research showed that kids felt not heard, not understood, and they were also feeling less important than the phone. And the research shows that they learn what to do when they have strong feelings. So maybe you are using your phone in order to regulate your emotions, right? In order to get distracted from problems, from stress. But unfortunately, we are modeling to our kids that, and if like looking at us, they learn that when they would have strong emotions or when they would have stress problems, that they would be looking at the device as well, and this would be as an automatic response, automatic behavior. So noticing these uncomfortable realities or negative consequences can also help us to motivate ourselves to stay focused, to create time for people we value, for the people we care about, and even at the presence of distractions at the age of social media, and when time passes very fast, when there are a lot of distractions, and this makes it more difficult to focus, to concentrate, there are still strategies and ways we can help ourselves. We can support ourselves, and we can make our brains stronger, and we can use different strategies to help our connections, our relationships to thrive, or to help us to work better, to be more successful. So what's happening in a neurological level when your mind is wandering? According to default mode network, it's a set of brain regions active during rest and mind wandering. This network is linked with self-referential thinking, future planning, and rumination about the past. And DMN activity is not all the time harmful. It's involved in creativity, perspective taking, and planning. But if there is a chronic, uncontrolled DMN dominance, a mind that never rests in the present is linked with higher levels of anxiety, depression, and reduced life satisfaction. So this means that if this part of brain is overly activated, you might have higher levels of depression, anxiety, and other mental health challenges. And human mind evolved to solve problems, anticipate threats, and make sense of the world. And the same mental processes that help us learn, create, imagine, and prepare can also pull us away from life unfolding right here, right now. So even though mind wandering can be very useful at certain levels, however, if it's too much activated, this can create challenges for us to focus on our work, to be successful, to be present in our relationships. So what we can do about it is use different strategies of mindfulness meditation. And mindfulness meditation doesn't just mean sitting in certain positions of yoga. There are a lot of different ways of meditating and using mindfulness in our daily life, even while walking, while eating, while speaking with people. You can train your brain to come into present moment and intentionally bring your attention towards what you are doing. And even 8-10 minutes of mindfulness was found to help concentration, focus, and even certain parts of your brain were found to increase, the thickness of the brain was found to increase. Therefore, it's quite realistic. Using just 8-10 minutes of your day can help to considerably improve your brain function and ability to focus. And when your mind begins telling stories about what might go wrong, when you go into the future, and when you start to think about worst case scenarios, and if you are trying to solve all the problems of the world, what you can do is that you can simply invite your attention into the present moment and to try to engage with what you are doing at that moment. And mind wandering is not a problem actually. It's a function of your brain that's helping you to stay alive, to survive, and there are a lot of positive functions of mind wandering. And generally, your mind is trying to generate solutions to keep you safe. However, when it exceeds, when it's like quite often, this might be negatively impacting your life. However, you are strong, you are resilient, we possess a lot of capabilities, and we can learn new strategies to help us to stay focused and to stay present. And when, for instance, difficult emotions show up, such as anxiety, sadness, loneliness, or uncertainty, you don't have to push them away before you can leave. Oftentimes we think that when difficult emotions arise, we need space to experience these feelings, but if it takes too long to stay in that place, we can again bring our attention to present moment, and it's also used if people are dissociating or if they are being swept away by very strong feelings, noticing what's around you, any colors, shapes, textures, any smell, and noticing who is around you, trying to remember that today's date are some strategies that we also use in psychotherapy to help the people to connect with the present moment. And oftentimes, for instance, you would also notice that the things that you are worrying about, either related with the future, maybe you are thinking about what might happen in the future and stressing about it, feeling anxious about it, feeling sad about it. But according to research, most of things that we worry about never come true, and we are spending a lot of time in our brains in the future or in the past, replaying conversations or thinking about worst-case scenarios. However, it's not always being helpful for us. So staying present is important from that considerations, because everything is happening. Everything that is happening in the present moment, and unfortunately the only way to change our life, to improve something, to create novelty, to create difference is possible while using the present moment. That's why ability to be in the present moment, to control and to focus in the present moment is very valuable, because it will considerably impact your ability to succeed. This would impact the quality of your work, quality of your relationships. So if you allowed yourself to carry these feelings when strong feelings visit you, when you accept that they are there, that they are here, and while you continue to move towards the people, purposes, and moments that matter for you, this would help you not to miss your life, not to miss the moments that matter for you, and to achieve the goals you want to achieve, and to slowly continue to move towards the goals that you want to achieve. And what's the science of mindfulness? According to John Kabat-Zinn's definition, mindfulness is intentionally paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and being non-judgmentally. And there are three components of it: intentional and not accidental, present moment, not past or future, and non-judgmental, observing without evaluation. There are a variety of different strategies of observing yourself present moment, and one of them is imagining as if you are stepping back and noticing your feelings, your thoughts, and just observing your mind, what's happening in your mind. And this helps to create space between your feelings, your thoughts, and to fully engage in the present moment, because when we don't notice our feelings and thoughts, when we are on autopilot, we are subconsciously acting on those feelings, we are acting on those thoughts, and sometimes we act as if these thoughts are reality, and this creates challenges in our daily life. For instance, imagine if your mind is telling you that you are a failure, And if you truly believe in it and you start moving as if you are really a failure, this would considerably impact your mood. Maybe you would feel sad, anxious about it, angry about it, and you can reflect these feelings on other people, and this may impact your behavior. And imagine if a person believes that they are failure, that they cannot succeed in anything. This would eventually impact their life in the long term. And therefore noticing your thoughts, your feelings, and becoming aware that they don't have to dictate your behavior is one of the first steps towards awareness. I'm having some connection problem. I will need to reconnect. I'm sorry for interruption. See you in a few minutes again.